There we are. Let's bring you guys volume up just to make sure everybody can hear you.
Yeah, my new microphone is supposedly getting here tomorrow, and hopefully it will not have the same problems that I had with this last one.
Yeah,
Literally
it's a
hear
work
my
in
neighbors
progress.
farting.
Well, welcome to the stream, everybody. Let's just dive right in. I'm Pixie. I'm a variety streamer here on Twitch. I like to play MMOs and horror games, and tonight we're playing live action Vampire the Masquerade, Philly by Night. I'm joined tonight by Nox, our storyteller, Skot, who plays Idaho, Zack, who plays Victor, and I play Alice, and we're waiting on our Martha, our Michael Starwell. But yeah, I just wanted to say hi to you guys, get the intro out of the way, jump into chat, make sure we can uh let you guys know we do follow chat, even though alerts are disabled. But we love hearing from you and we do respond. So, to you guys, how's the week been?
I mean, it's Monday.
Weekend. For me, I count the weeks Monday to Monday now. It's like that's my church, right?
Fair, very fair. Really good. Again, I hammered it home last week. I will totally hammer it home again today. If you haven't seen it, go watch Arcane. I know it's like the number one trending thing on fucking Netflix right now, but if you haven't seen it, go see it. Kind of the other thing to throw out there, since I had kind of a kind of a cool experience, and a little bit of background. Martha's kind of involved in this, but the guy who got me involved, and trigger warnings here for people who are worried, but the guy who got me back into to tabletop games and eventually into becoming a DM, he committed suicide last month. And I'm going to his life celebration this coming week. But today there was a fellow tabletop gamer who is on Twitter and who is having some issues, and I reached out and was chatting, and seemed to be able to help them. So it's kind of one of those things where, if you're having issues, if you're having problems, not to get all preachy or anything like that, but if you feel like, the shit's just too hard, there are people out there who are more than willing to talk to you. Pix is out there. I'm on Twitter.
And
and even just
I deal with depression and bipolar myself. I know exactly what it is to be in your super lows and just need someone, even if it's someone you don't know that well, so that you won't feel judged or anything, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, message me. I have Twitch, I have Discord, I'm on all the social media. I'll be your sounding board. I'll be the one to bring you down if you need it. And there are lots of us out there that are supportive like that.
And I've seen her go through a lot of those lows, so I've been there for some of those. And I'm also a veteran, and I know veterans, it's very hard with them right now too. So yeah, definitely. Just know there's help out there.
So that's what I got. Unless you guys really want to talk about the brass band with the lady who pulled somebody on stage and pissed on a dude's face.
I read that.
I do want to talk about that.
Wasn't a genitorture show either.
What?
Yeah, right? Or like
No,
L7. Does anybody remember the old L7 controversy?
No, I don't.
She produced a used feminine hygiene product and whipped it right into the crowd. I'll put it that way.
I mean, that's all why we all go to their shows, right?
Why I don't? I'm like, I'll just watch that shit on YouTube. Like, so wait, we've already hit the first fetish, right?
I guess, yeah, technically.
I think the
seven
first
already.
fetish was hearing your neighbor fart through the microphone.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're on number 7 already.
Oh my goodness.
Oi.
Yeah, I went to see the Genitorturers back before they were doing all that weird stuff, when they were just like it was her and her backing guys just looked like a bunch of long-haired dudes with like jeans and shirts and just playing music.
I was actually going to ask, did you go to the show this
Like
last
they
week?
need a persona. Let's see what we can do about that.
I stopped going to their shows. I'm literally the first time I saw them was back in Austin before my 26-year-old son was born. That's how long ago it was.
I was going to say, way to age yourself.
Yes. Well, my younger sister is turning 50 this month, so there's another way to age myself.
Jesus
And,
Christ. I thought
yeah.
you were like in your 30s.
No, we had this discussion before.
I was turned in my 30s, so that's why I look like
Ah, that's yes, very.
Yes. But I've seen them now so many times, and I don't want to talk bad about the Gina Torturers, but I just kind of started to feel like it was getting repetitive. And the last two shows I saw of them, I don't know why I got this vibe. I'm not a sound engineer. I'm not any of that kind of stuff. But it seemed to me like she wasn't maybe singing the songs.
Oh,
And
she's pulling a Thrill Kill Cult.
yeah. And the funny thing was, without any prompting on my part, I had another person at the show come up to me and say the same thing. Like, does it look like she's actually singing, or is she kind of lip syncing? And I went, I kind of thought she was maybe lip syncing. But, if you're lip syncing to yourself, is it really that bad? I don't know. But the shows are entertaining, but.
It was bad on SNL.
Yeah. But, I think that, I don't know, they're a good band. They're entertaining. I like that they, I like their type of music. I like that they put on a really intense show. But I guess it's just like anything. After you've seen it so many times, it gets a little old.
Not Coheed. I could watch Coheed.
Yeah, their shows are always amazing.
Since I can only watch it, somebody get a lollipop pulled out of their ass so many times before it gets old.
And me and Jericho and Chris and Shannon, last time we went to Vegas years ago, we actually went and they were playing in Vegas that night. So we went that evening to see them at some dive bar in Vegas, which I thought was going to be really cool. And it was kind of iffy. There was no opening band. They got on the stage hours and hours late. And she even had her people out in the crowd trying to talk people into getting up on stage to join the show. And the majority of the crowd didn't even look like the right kind of crowd for a Gina Torture show. So it was a little bit strange.
I imagine that's a bit of a hard sell to, your average unknowing fan. You want me to get up on stage and do what?
Yeah. Well, they came up to us because we looked like Gina Torture's fans. And I said, no, I'm not here to get up on the stage unless you're going to pay me, which, of course, they weren't going to do that. So
I don't work for free.
I said, yeah.
So I'm just saying, would Idaho have gotten up on stage?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the main reasons I didn't was because we were so tired. It really was kind of poorly thought out. It would have been better to have done it on any other night except the night we arrived.
Right.
Because we got there really early. And we were, and when you go, you're going west, so you're kind of messing with your time to begin with. And by the time we worked it out in our heads, and also this was a few years ago. It's not like we were still in our 20s and 30s. And by the time they got up on stage, we had all been up over 24 hours.
Oh, goddamn.
Without the benefit of any sort of, extra things to help us stay awake. And
that was your problem.
Yeah, by then I was just like, fuck this. And it was also really out of the way. It wasn't on the strip. When the show ended, we called our cab and it took them forever. I mean, like 30, 45 minutes to get there. And the cabbie drove up and he said, I'm sorry I'm late. I got lost. I don't even know what part of Las Vegas are we even in. This is the cabbie. He didn't even know. Like, that's interesting. But
at least you made it out alive.
Right.
Well, we did. I mean, I don't know about the rest of the people that were in the show after we left. But Yeah, it was interesting.
So Vic, just to get a kind of a question about what's going to happen. So what exactly are you planning on doing here when we start?
Shit, where we leave off?
Remember, you had your hands wrapped around the guy's throat, and you were like,
you were about to lunge for him.
yeah. You were asking him a question, but he can't answer you because you're crushing his larynx. Remember? Because Pepperidge Farm remembers.
God damn it.
I know, I was streaming till just enough time to like get myself together, so I didn't have a chance. I didn't look at it either. I'm bad.
You were getting ready to try to satisfy your compulsion.
And I don't usually read them on Roll20. I usually read them in my email when they get to my email, but they're usually delayed by like 24 hours too, which sucks.
Yeah, I don't ever get them very quickly.
It's always up immediately on Roll20.
Yeah, that's where I'm going now. I just
Yeah, but
having to dismiss all the alerts from back to like session 12.
Remember, all three of you guys got hit by your compulsion.
I thought
you
I
were the only
satisfied
one.
mine.
You did.
Yeah. I'm just saying, when we had the session,
Oh, yeah.
all three of you guys, I was the only one who didn't. And Vic was, I mean, the way I remember it, Vic was thinking, oh, this guy refusing to answer our questions is a great way for me to try to satisfy my compulsion. Because remember, it was like trying to change their mind or rip their head off, one of the two. I can't remember when.
Yeah.
And, you know, Idaho doesn't trust people that have money, so he's not going to intervene. Except maybe to help.
I mean, given the 60s decor and the shag carpet, do these people really look like they have money?
They've been around since the 60s, reaping all of their investments. They have money.
You're probably not wrong.
They bought the first available shares of Apple.
The Camarilla, yes.
I mean,
Steve Jobs is absolutely a vampire.
That's why we have computers, is because of the Camarilla.
Steve Jobs is absolutely. I can't remember the Camarilla.
Is breed? Maybe not. Maybe I can't breed him today.
Boy. Martha was like, be right there, having camera issues.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, she said that like 20 minutes ago.
Almost half hour ago.
Ah. I saw that you messaged her, so I didn't bother opening and looking at it, so I didn't see the message back.
She sent me a message that says, go ahead on without me, Vic. You better kill that guy. I just read it right now. You know, I mean, I just read it.
Oy. So what does everybody else got going on for later this week?
Work tomorrow night.
Physical therapy and pain doctor appointments.
Cool.
I don't know if I told you guys, I went to see the movie Dune.
How was it?
You didn't like it?
I loved it.
Oh, you loved it.
And this is coming from a hardcore Dune fan. I'm a huge Dune fan.
Master Pancake riffed it.
Yeah.
We watched about the first hour-ish.
Yeah.
It was very interesting for me because it really moved me. I thought it was just so well done.
No, I liked the visual of it. I mean, I heard a lot of people griping. They liked the craziness of the original one, just the outlandishness. But to me, that kind of made Dune camp.
Yeah, it did.
And I was like, I want to enjoy this story. There's a good story here, but like everything's so wacky.
Yeah, Lynch went
Whereas I
overboard.
liked the look of this new one. It was very interesting, and especially the fashion. Oh,
Yeah. Well, the over the top stuff in Lynch's movie was all Lynch's thing. That wasn't in the book. So
yeah.
he really just went over the top just to, make it a little fun, I guess. So this felt much more.
It's Sting.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Where
Sting's
can I
character
put this guy?
isn't even in this movie. So that was interesting.
Oh, that's yeah. We
Yeah,
went to bed before that, but yeah, that makes. I didn't know that they did that.
Yeah, in the book, he has a brief scene at the beginning, and then he's not in the book again for a long time. So I guess what Denis Villeneuve, what he thought about it was, let's just not introduce him until he actually is going to be in to do something.
Because it's a trilogy.
Yeah, I assume that's what they're doing because it's basically one book, but there's 3 parts to it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I really liked it. I kind of, there were a couple of things in the book I would have liked to have seen in the movie, and there were a couple of things he added that were not in the book that I didn't think really were that necessary.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of nitpicky. Overall, I thought it was just amazing, and I actually went to the theater to see it, and I really don't like going to the theater. So it was really cool seeing it on the big screen.
What about you guys in chat? Does anybody seen anything new lately? Anybody see June?
The live action Cowboy Bebop
Starts this week. This week.
I guess it's already out.
Well, some people have been able to watch, like the people that have press advances, they've been able to watch the whole first season already. So they've already put up reviews because the embargo.
That's why I'm not reading shit.
Is over. So they can put up reviews, but it's not going to be released to us until Friday.
So one of the reviews that I saw for it was that.
That's weird.
That is weird.
We're in different order.
Yeah, I was going to say that's odd.
It moved you
to the end.
That's so weird.
On one person's screen, that's.
Hi.
You look fantastic.
It's the Toreador influence.
I had to update the computer.
Yeah. There was a bunch of new updates these last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I haven't been here doing anything much because I've been running around like a mad person with everything. So yeah, sorry guys.
No worries. Yeah, no, we were just talking about the live action Cowboy. The reviews for it, the one that I saw said basically was if you've never seen Cowboy Bebop before, you will absolutely love the live action remake of it. If you've
I have a feeling that there's no Ed.
No,
they said
they have not.
If you've seen the Cowboy Bebop, he was like, "Don't watch this."
Yeah, damn.
I'm still gonna watch it.
I am too because I have a thing for the lead. I've always had a thing for the guy who played Spike, and I've always had a thing for Spike. So hey,
I've always had a researcher's mind, and so when I watch and I read a book, and then I want to see it. I want to see all the differences. I want to see what did they do, So with this one, I love the original. Let's see what they're gonna do with this.
You would really like a YouTube channel called Dominic Noble. He does a lot of Lost in adaptations where he compares the book to the film, and he is very thorough, very
okay. Drop it in our messenger.
Yeah, and can you actually message me the Twitch link right now?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, let's get started.
Let's get started, people. Sorry we've taken so long.
So, welcome to our Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition Chronicle, Philly by Night. We are on session 39. And since we are starting once again...
Midstream.
In the middle of action.
Midstream.
Let's do that is a really unfortunate phrase given some of the things we've talked about. Let us do a little bit of a recap.
Stream, right?
And you guys in chat, please let me know if their volume isn't high enough. It's on a different setting than mine. So you guys let us know if I need to turn everybody else up.
So, last session, after investigating into what happened to Kai, and saying goodbyes to their fallen comrade, the coterie took Kai to Carmine in search of answers. And using the bits of information that they were able to pull from her. They were able to deduce who had murdered their friend. But before they retired for the evening, they had one more stop to make at the law offices of Fairchild and Haddonfield. Pursuing a lead given to them by Hope, the coterie went inside and attempted to talk to Mr. Haddonfield, who seemed reluctant to go and answer their questions, which in turn prompted our Bruja to suffer his compulsion.
Mm-hmm.
So, as our scene begins, Vic, what is your intention? What are you about to do or about to try to do?
I was going to threaten him or intimidate, and it was just basically say, look, we have it on good authority that there's a third man, and if you don't point me to him, I'll make sure there's only 2 men left in this place.
So are you actually going to try to intimidate him?
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be we'll say your manipulation and intimidation. So 5,
3 and 2.
Yeah, 3 and 2.
What's my hunger at?
7.
2. I'm spending a willpower.
Okay.
Bro. Great way to start the night.
Hey, I
Go
can
for
reroll
three.
all 3 of the white
Yes, you
ones.
can. In another willpower.
What if I could? I think you can only do it once, though, per roll.
Maybe
So-
3 is enough. Let's see.
Yeah, I've got to break out the rolling scripts here.
I should have roused the blood.
Good.
All right.
Y'all, I'm really weirded out by the rearranging.
It is odd. It's so odd.
I don't
We've
like-
gone how many
It's
weeks?
messing with me.
Every week. Every single week.
Right, but I'm saying like the length of this campaign.
39?
I wonder if it's because you changed your name.
That's what I was wondering, but
I didn't
Why?
change what it's
I
it's
don't know.
Oh, you
because
were
when we
out.
had the
Instead of
issues,
Alice.
yeah, it changed it. It changed everything.
maybe if you change your name back.
Yeah. Alice. Oh, Alice.
I'll change my name just to see what happens.
So,
Yay, experimenting in the middle of a game.
he looks at you, Vic, and you see that he is kind of notably trying to like size you up and see, difference. And he puts a hand up and he goes, look. He goes, I'm not trying to fight with you or trying to but he was like, you don't know what you guys are involved with or what we do here. He said, so I need to know exactly what you're trying to do here before we can even have this discussion.
And this
At
was
that,
a
I'll
lead
loosen-
from
At
Hope.
that, I'll loosen up and I'll let Michael, get back to it. It seems like I got enough information out of him that he knows.
Wait, where's my
So now this conversation seems to be headed in the right direction.
Okay, yeah. So this is
You
like
need to-
evidence regarding
We're still trying to speak to the third man.
Mhm.
We're trying to get
but
him
like
to who the
this
third man is.
this is
right?
this is a lead from Hope, basically in regards to a boon, who is giving me a lead on information for Charles, right? And his involvement in the Second Inquisition, right?
Mm.
Okay, I'm on page. I'm just trying to remember which lead and which mystery we're solving tonight.
Yeah.
Like there's so many in the air.
Yeah.
The Spanish Inquisition.
Just tell them that Hope sent us.
He said he needs to know what we're after.
Yes.
Well, we are after information. So if it is so pertinent about knowing what you do here, enlighten us while we still can hold our temper.
He kind of cocks an eye at you, and he says, "How did you guys even hear of this?"
Unimportant.
He goes, "It's pretty fucking important."
Let's see if it is.
He goes, "I don't think you understand what we do here or why we're here, or really what you're asking for. So how about this? Let's start over." He sits down and kind of like puts his hands on the desk, and he goes, "What is it that you four are trying to accomplish here?"
We need evidence.
We're chasing down rats. Pests that have infested kindred kind and have turned on their own.
He goes, "Metaphors are great when you're speaking to somebody who is on the street." He's like, "I'm an attorney." He's like, "If you want me to help you, I need you to be as forthcoming as possible."
You're also a cam attorney in cam territory.
He is like, "That's true. But we have also represented interests that were not Camarilla affiliated before."
Can I ask a quick out of game question?
Sure.
When Hope and her group of people showed up at our club, and she went down and she talked to Michael, none of the rest of us were there, right, when that happened?
So you would have been in the near area, or people would
Right,
have
but
been
we didn't hear
around,
the conversation.
but you would not have been able to hear the conversation. No.
Okay, all right, thanks. That's what I was just trying to make sure I was on board with that. Okay, thanks.
I'm pretty sure I would have like told everybody, considering I've been making calls asking for like the third man in front of everybody.
Yeah, I was kind of under that assumption too, is that
Yeah.
information was
Okay.
And that's why we're here as a group. All right. Someone has sold out Kindred for their own personal gain. I seek to bring justice to this Kindred.
We all spent a month in a naval base under the Second Inquisition because of it. So whoever sent us there is going to pay.
He looks a little incredulous. He goes, "Do you have any proof of what you're accusing, he goes, "Do you have any proof of what has happened at the actual naval base?"
At that, I'm going to look at Michael and I'm going to say, "Isn't that why Hope sent us to get proof?"
Ooh, why would you say that?
Why wouldn't I? Isn't that why she sent us to get proof? I mean,
Yeah, but like now you're selling out
Or,
our informant.
yeah.
I also think that this guy would probably be more forthcoming if we told people. I mean, did she say not to tell who it was?
Well, that's kind of like the thing. She's like, here's your information. Go ask for the third man. I'm done. That's your boon.
Okay.
Like, it's kind of
Okay.
like internal affairs between like people in power. So like she's the Baron of New York? No.
No,
She was
no. You're thinking of Torque.
Oh, sorry. She was who was she?
Just some crazy milk.
Somebody who brought the information.
Al had it right.
Just a fucking crazy milk.
Okay. So what I say is at the moment all we have is very strong circumstantial evidence.
There is a knock on the door. Francis puts his hands on the desk, stands up, and he goes, "1 second." He walks around the desk, around you guys, to the door. He opens the door. He doesn't leave, but he opens the door wide enough. On the other side of the door, you see two people, one of which you've never seen before in your life. He is a thin, kind of, shall we say, reedy looking gentleman. But the other person who is standing on the other side of the door, you know, on sight. It is Skro, Charles' sheriff.
Ooh. Ooh.
The gentleman on the outside goes, "Secretary alerted me, Francis. I was having a meeting with the sheriff here. Is there something that needs to be resolved?" Francis looks over his shoulder at the four of you and goes, "Not at all. Just potential new clients." There is kind of some grunting, some and then Haddonfield closes the door, sits down at the desk. He looks in turn at each of you and he goes, "Who is it that you think did this to you?"
Deputy's owner.
And I nod at that.
He looks at each of you again in turn and goes, One moment. He reaches across his desk, picks up a phone, dials number, and says, "So what do you think?" He goes, "All right." He's like, he says, "This is jumping the gun. He says, if this is what you want, then do it. But, okay." He hangs up the phone, and he goes, "Come with me."
Oh, it's a trap, it's a trap, it's a trap, it's a trap, it's a trap.
No, I think we're going to get a meeting with the third man.
He stands up, and walks through a door on the back wall of the office. The room that is behind that door does not look anything like the office so far. The room is modern, with wood floors. The walls in that room are covered in concrete and steel.
Is there a drain in the floor?
There's not a drain in the floor.
That's gotta be a good sign, right?
Haddonfield activates a retinal scan and a biometric hand scan and opens another door in the room beyond. This door, behind it, there is a set of stairs that go down. He gestures and he gestures to the door and says, "You got what you wanted."
Thank you. All right.
Before you walk down, he looks you
Whoa, we got an
dead in the
echo.
eye, Michael, and says, "You know that old saying, be careful what you ask for, you might get it? You got it. You can't undo this."
Isn't that just the way of life?
He gives you kind of a sad look and then gestures to the door stairs going down.
I lean into Michael and I say, why is it when I see those kinds of scans, I'm thinking the night's going to end with an eyeball and a hand in my bag? Just saying.
So, as the coterie descends down the stairs, at first, the stairs down are metal, kind of like you'd expect from like a catwalk grate. And looking down, you can't see anything underneath of them. But as you go down further, there is a point when the stairs go from metal to stone. And you realize as you've gone down that you are now in a massive cavern. It looks like it's got to be a couple 100 feet across.
I bet there's bats in it.
Yeah.
I was about to say, Batman.
There are no bats that you see, but there are things hanging from the ceiling.
Things?
Chains, devices, pulleys. And as you descend down, you see that what you are descending to is actually one set of stairs. There is an identical set of stairs on the other side. Between those two stairs is what looks like a house or a mansion even, except that it's bisected. The top of it's been completely taken off. All of the floors are glass so you can see through them. The exterior wall isn't, but the interior walls are also glass. Inside the house
13 goats.
is from where as you're walking down, there are some things you can see that look almost normal. There's an office space that looks like it has curiously similar furniture to what's upstairs. There is a bedroom with a very, very fancy 4-poster bed with appropriately gothic finishing. But there is also things in other rooms that don't look natural. Giant metal and glass beakers large enough to hold a person. There are what look like prosthetics that are too large or too small to possibly be for a human being. As you reach the bottom of the stairs, you are on what can only be called a mock street that leads up to open gate going into the front yard of this house. Standing at the gate is a man and a woman. The man is dressed in a white long sleeve shirt with a vest and black pants. The woman is dressed in a black knee length skirt. They look human, or their form is human. They smell human. But as the group gets closer, there are some notable differences. Neither of them have mouths at all. And both of them only have one eye, where their mouth and their eye would be is just completely smooth.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Hello.
So,
Well, we knew someone else with one eye, one extra eye. Not that creepy.
so
But this is like Cyclops and no mouth. So this is just an eye and a smooth mask.
Well,
I guess Alice
Of a
is
face.
just nonplussed.
That doppelganger didn't
Yeah,
come out right.
this is normal. This is fine. This is fine.
So, what do you want to do?
I am going to say, hello. Thank you for seeing us.
The two blink with their one eyes. And then both of them give kind of a short bow. They open the gates a little wider and kind of gesture for you to walk in.
I go on in. But I would also like to do a sense the unseen.
Okay, since the unseen, wits and is going to be wits and aspects, so that's going to be.
Does she get a helper dice?
It's a discipline, so no.
Oh,
So
okay.
It's 3 and 1. Your hunger is at 3, so
Jesus.
1 and 3.
Yeah, we were supposed to feed right after seeing Haddonfield, and
Yeah.
just never got that far. This one night has spanned 3 sessions.
Yep.
Rough go.
You said 1 and 3?
Yep.
Fuck me. Here we go. Yay!
So when you use sense the unseen, looking around, there's nothing at ground level that is particularly notable. It is only when you look up that you notice that near each of the doors there are 2 men, women at this distance you can't really see, that are posted near the stairs going up at the very tops on each side.
Next to each doors?
Yes.
Okay.
So a total of 4.
2 women and 2 men at each door.
No, 2. You can't see if they're men or women from
Just
this
figures.
distance.
Oh, just 2 figures at each door.
So
Okay.
2 guards at each door.
Okay. If I can whisper this to anybody who's close to me, I will, as long as it can't be heard by the others.
So when you say by the others, you mean by the 2 that have greeted you?
Yeah, like, so if any one of
Far
my
away from
coterie is very close to me, I'm going to just lean in and say 2 guards at each exit. Or I can just, like, what is our positioning as we're going in?
What is your positioning?
Well, I went in. They I followed their prompts to like enter the house. So I don't know what everybody else did.
How far is the gate from the front door?
How far is the gate from the front
Mhm.
door? Say 20 yards.
So yeah, you can just wait till we're sufficiently away
Yeah.
from people.
Then
and-
never mind. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
hold on
halfway
to that.
between.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold on to that. I don't need to like share it with them right now.
So, does anybody do on your walk between the front gate to the door? What do you do? Are you guys looking around? Are you basically trying to eyes forward, walk straight on?
No, I'm looking around.
Yeah, trying to take in as much as possible.
I'm staying pretty super close to Michael at this point, but I've reached into my back pocket and pulled out my brass knucks and just kind of gently slid them on because I'm a paranoid fucker.
So,
You pull your long sleeves on top of them
Yeah,
just to
just-
like be like all punky. I'm just cold, guys. I'm just
This is my new one.
it is cold down here. Vic, what are you doing?
I guess I'm
Baby
following
hands.
close to Michael. I'm just trying to make sure she's protected, he's protected, and then just
Baby.
So as you're walking up, there is it's like a front yard, except there's no grass. All of the grass.
best yard to have, by the way, guys. Have a
Mhm.
moss yard if you can.
The trees are either plastic or dead. In looking around, like it looks well kept up. Everything looks, like it's very neat and prim. Kind of everything in its place. but there is still something that is about it that just seems inherently wrong. Like this was, as you're walking up, you're looking at the yard, you're looking at the front of this. It almost looks like a very small part of the world was sliced off and relocated somewhere else. When you get to the front door, the doors open. It's a set of double doors, open outward. There is a large man, human again, who again has no mouth, who only has one eye. But more than that, one of his arms is misshapen. It's almost like Popeye, like the huge forearm, and is longer by a fair amount than the other arm. The other notable thing about it is the shirt that is on him.
What is he, Hellboy?
Well, it is very. It's tailored to him. Like the other sleeve is long enough to cover up the arm. It's so tight on him that you can see that where you would expect there to be ribs or musculature, instead there are actually maybe 8, maybe 10 ribs going down. He gestures for you to come in, and as you walk into the front hall, it's marble floors. It is beautiful. The walls are glass, but they're pristinely you see through. But hanging from the kind of elevated ceiling in the front foyer, it looks like the giant skeleton of a creature you've never seen before. There's too many limbs. There's too many teeth. There's
Very
too
cool.
many. It is. Is it from this period? Is it from another period? Was it ever actually a real thing? There's no way to know.
I lean in real close to Michael and I say, this seemed like maybe the place that Kai's roommate came from.
Who knows?
Just saying.
At that point, Al, you hear a voice to your left that says, "Keeping secrets in glass houses is stupid."
Yeah.
The man who appears is bald, with a sharp chin, with a short goatee. He is wearing a red long sleeve buttoned up shirt with a black vest that goes over top with some kind of gold filigree on top of that, slacks, and reasonably sensible shoes. He looks at the four of you and says, "I would tell you that it has been a very long time since I've had guests, but the truth of the matter is I can't remember the last time that I had a guest that wasn't brought here by force."
Not a good sign.
Well, that is a shame.
He says, "I agree wholeheartedly." He tucks his hands behind his back and walks around you and says, "So, what do I owe the pleasure?"
We're looking for answers, and we have been led to believe that you might have some for us. Finding your existence has been informative and enjoyable enough.
He smiles a very tense smile at you, Michael, and he goes, "No one knows that I'm here. The court makes sure of that."
And we can make, if that is what you prefer, we shall make sure it stays that way.
Oh, it's not my preference. I would rather not be down in this pit, but they keep my projects working. They keep me entertained. So one might suppose this is a good enough life. He says, "My name is Abram."
This is the guy in the red shirt?
Yes.
Is he the same one with the misshapen arms?
No.
Okay. That was just like a butler?
Yeah, just the guy that opened the door.
Okay. What was his name?
Abram?
Abram. I give out a hand and I say, Michael Starwell.
He shakes your hand and goes, "Oh, I know who you are. I know who all of you are."
Look at Michael. I'm like, hey, we're famous.
And he looks at you and smiles and says, "In all the wrong circles for all the wrong reasons."
That makes it better.
He says,
Everybody envies a bad motherfucker.
It seems like wrong is very subjective these days.
he says, "Come, let us walk and we will talk." He goes through a hallway, and as you're walking down this hallway, you see in the distance through the other walls, you can see other people that are walking around attending things. Some of them are dressed in uniforms. Some of them are dressed like the two that were outside. All of them missing their mouth and an eye. But through one particular swatch of hallway, one can glimpse a larger room where there are what can only be called cages of glass and steel. And inside of those are misshapen forms straight out of nightmares.
Or Dune.
Junji Ito.
Abram continues to walk and says, "She didn't expect you to actually get this far, you know."
Is that a fact?
This is a bit of a play on her part as well.
I'm sure it is. She's always had her own motivations.
Says, "So, what is it that you have come this far to find?"
The truth of the matter.
We need proof, remember? We need proof that Charles...
We need the truth of the matter. Yeah. And proof of it.
He nods and opens a door into another hallway that leads to the giant room with the cages.
Full of the Cronenberg people.
Aram walks in, looking at different dials, gauges, looking at paperwork. And then he turns to you and he says, let's be done with our evasions.
Delightfully.
He says, you want proof of who did things to you. You want to know who put you in a cage for a month.
Precisely.
He looks at each of you and he says, I know exactly who did this to you. He says, I know how to prove it. He says, before I give this to you, I have to ask, are you truly ready for the repercussions that will come of this? He says, because this will be the bullet you put in the gun that kills the current version of the Ivory Tower in Philadelphia.
There is no dress rehearsal in life.
He looks at you, Michael, and he says, doing this will make you famous, or infamous. He says, all of your kind, all of the anarchs will see this as a huge win. It says you will be crowned undisputedly as the Baron of all of Philadelphia for this. And you will have a target on the back of your head from every Camarilla who's looking to make a mark.
Unlike now.
I've had 100 years of undeath. If it brings justice, so be it. No one gets away with this shit. Not in my Philly.
He makes a wide sweeping gesture to the walls of his house and goes, so you think.
Well, then, not for very much longer.
He says, I don't think that even as the Baron of all of Philadelphia, that you could unshackle these chains. But we'll see. So, you want proof. I want something.
As to be expected.
He says, I'm not the only one who's conducting an experiment in Philadelphia. It says, deep in Fairmount Park, the wolves are as well. He says, I want you to bring it to me.
Alive or dead?
Alive.
And if we fail to protect it and keep it alive
He
in the process of acquisition?
he chuckles and he goes, I don't think I'll be the one that you have the issue with.
In other words, if we kill their creature, they're going to come after us. He's not going to be the one to come after us. The werewolves are going to be the one to do it.
Yeah, but like they're
No,
gonna.
I'm asking if he still wants the torso or whatever it is.
He looks at you, Idaho. And he goes, you know, I knew your sire briefly.
Hmm.
You should be proud to know that you have exceeded her short-lived legacy by a very wide margin.
Really? Wow. Okay.
She chose well.
Oh, thanks.
He says, you need to do the same. And you know of what I'm speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Samantha.
Have a baby!
Yeah, I've managed to dodge the bullet so far.
That bitch is relentless.
You're not going to get away from her.
I have thus far. I have 100% confidence in myself.
I
You
do
did
too.
promise, though.
Good for you, Idaho.
I promise a lot of shit that I don't deliver on.
He turns to you, Michael, and says, so, do we have a deal?
Fuck it all. I give him my hand. We have a deal.
Yeah.
He extends a hand and shakes it firmly, and he goes, you have 3 days. In 3 nights, come back, and I'll have what you want.
Thank you for your hospitality.
He gives you a kind of manic smile, and he goes, oh, I don't think I've begun to show you my hospitality, but let us leave on better terms.
Ha! Indeed.
Deuce. Bye.
Yeah.
We outie.
So,
This guy gives me the heebie-jeebies, and that's saying a hell of a lot.
Right? So he's basically just making chimeras, right? Or like, could I have... Would you... actually, I would like to ask him before leaving and before saying goodbye. Would you be willing to enlighten us on the nature of your experiments? Or the one that we are after? So we make sure we have the right one.
he smiles and says, these? No. He's like, you don't need to know about these. The one in the woods with the wolves, he says, she's the only one. There's only one of them.
Okay.
Is she an animal?
He looks at you.
Aren't we
And
all?
there is a flash on his face. It's an emotion you don't recognize. And he says, perhaps more so now than the wolves themselves.
Hmm.
One of the one-armed butlers comes in. He walks up to Abram, stands right next to him, and does a complex series of hand motions. It doesn't look like any sign language you've ever seen, but it's obviously a form of communication. And just nods and goes, I'm on my way. He turns to the four of you and he goes, I hate to cut this meeting short as I receive so few visitors. But unfortunately, it is time to feed my pets.
We look forward to our next visit then.
He says, we'll see. But I will be looking forward to it. And with that, he is gone.
So once he's out of earshot, I turn to Michael. You think this is where Kai came from?
Would
Ion,
it be reaching for me to say none of these experiments are vampires?
At least the ones you've witnessed.
or smell.
Yeah, I'm going off of the bloodhound.
None of the one-eyed, mouthless creatures that you have seen are kindred. They are all human. They all smell very human to you. As did the large, pop-eyed armed one that you saw. The things in these beakers, they're locked up tight. There's no way to be able to smell them.
Actually, I'll look at Michael and say, so there's not a clan that has like an extra eye on their forehead?
Maybe some ancient shit.
Would I know? Didn't we like find out what Kai was? Like, was she made like that? Or that was like part of her vampirum?
I was going to say, yeah, no, you know that she's a salubri.
Yeah, that's it. And that's just how they express. Sometimes they have.
Okay.
I thought too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Kai wouldn't have been made here.
Okay. But what about her extra armed friend?
Might have been.
Yeah. He was my
The
main
guy-
concern anyway, but yeah.
He had an extra arm?
Didn't he have like what was the build? Something was weird about his build. I thought
No,
it was
that
an
was
extra arm.
that was the big guy at the end. He was like a worm and like expanded.
Okay. Okay.
He had multiple arms.
It's been a while. I slept
yeah.
since then.
Yeah, that was the guy that we talked to, Idaho, and Michael talked to, sort of like tried to act like he was helping us get out of there, and then he sacrificed himself to the werewolf guy, if I remember
Oh
correctly.
no, we sacrificed him to the.
He sacrificed himself. He basically just went up to him and said, "Eat me, Daddy."
So how do you
That's
think
what-
we get out
that's
of this
number 12.
place?
Ego.
Up the stairs. Same way we got it.
Ego is definitely a killer.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you
Let's get out of here. Let's go home.
Yeah.
So
We need a feed. We still need a feed. And then go home.
Set up a rave.
Need it home.
as you take the stairs up, the door at the top is open, and both Haddonfield and Fairchild are sitting in the office waiting for you.
Okay.
When you get in there, Haddonfield looks at you, Michael, and says, "Did you find out what you needed?"
Not yet.
He goes, "I was afraid of that."
Would you please shed some light on the situation?
He goes, "The cleanest way that I can possibly tell you is that this is as much a punishment for us as it is for him."
So making you the jail keepers is your penance.
Fairchild looks you dead in the eye and says, "You need to understand something. For all of his manners, for his well-spokenness and his pleasing tones,
Oh, he's a complete monster.
he's a monster. He deserves."
Oh, we're not questioning that in any manner.
That was very evident.
Oof.
He
Who
says,
supplies him with test subjects?
And how do they get him in? Because we have to bring one in too. So what's the best way to bring
Yeah,
a
what's
test?
the
when you said you have to bring a test subject in, both of them look at one another and
No.
are like, we need to get this cleared. Like, everything has to be. Fairchild says, "Whatever he's asked you to bring it to us. And
Who
then we will
supply?
take it. And
Okay.
then we will take it down altogether."
I mean, you're the only way we can reach him, as far as we know. We don't know where the other stairs lead out, now do we?
Fairchild goes, "They lead into my office."
Yeah, both offices.
How Sisyphean.
To which Haddonfield says, "If only we could drop a boulder on him. Leave it there forever."
So, how did he become your burden?
It's a story for another night. It says it's early. Why don't you all head home? We want to as well.
And I already have. I will be in touch. I will call you tomorrow in the evening, first thing, sunset after sunset.
Haddonfield says, "Do us and yourself a favor. Don't contact us until you've got whatever mad device or whatever he's asked for now."
Agreed. We will see you when we see you.
They escort you out the front, and it is very early. It is just after 4 a.m.
Red Hustle? Get in the car.
As we're heading back, Michael texts any food with benefits that he still has.
Nobody calls. Nobody texts you back. So,
On the way back, can we hunt like in the car? Like pay attention to who's around?
You can when you get back to your
Our
side of
property,
town.
yeah. Because we got to get out of camp territory.
When you get there, it is very early, and you only have a little bit of time. So, having to hunt collectively, who has the highest hunger?
I
Ooh.
think
Do I even have hunger right now?
Yeah, I don't.
Michael was at 3.
Michael's at a 3. Idaho's at a
I'm at
1. Alice is at a 3.
Oh, okay.
Vic's at a 2.
So me and Al.
Is there
Yep.
so is there a benefit to doing it together? What were you going to say?
I was also
What
going.
What I was going to say was roll either one of the two who have, and in fact, I'll let you both roll, and you can take the better option. Roll 7 dice, 4 white, 3 red for your hunger. And that is the amount of success that you have is your hunt together.
Ah!
So yeah, Idaho dropped him off, and I just left to go find a place to sleep.
He's like, fuck this, I'm out.
I want to let y'all know that I don't need to eat. Y'all have fun. I'm going to.
I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone with Clyde right now.
So
We're gonna need cleanup.
Oh, you
So-
got to take the best. You got to take the best of the two.
So here is the response. Because this is a group hunt and it's not an individual's, the messy crit doesn't matter. It's just the number of successes.
Oh,
So-
the Mexi crit doesn't matter.
Oof.
Well, then
That would have
mine-
made for better storyline.
So
Yeah, right.
here is the total number of hunger needed to reduce down to everybody to 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your success has exceeded that, so everyone's hunger is back down to 1.
Cool.
And with that, everyone is able to retire. We are going to take a bio break. And when we come back, it'll be
Start the first new night. 3 sessions.
First new night, yeah.
a fresh evening.
Okay, everybody. Bio break time. Go get a drink, a snack, a smoke, what you need. And we'll be back in about 10-ish. Alrighty, stick with us. Don't go anywhere, Raiders. We're so glad to have you here. You got here at a really good time. We're starting a brand new evening, so please stick with us. Alrighty, be right back.
Idaho.
Oh God, our
Oh my
off-screen
God.
conversations.
We're
Welcome back,
live.
everybody.
We're back.
Thanks for sticking with us through that bio break. I'm Pixie. Welcome to the playground. Tonight, you're witnessing our Vampire the Masquerade live action session. With us tonight is Nox, our storyteller, Skot, who plays Idaho, Zack, who plays Victor. I play Alice, and Martha, who plays Michael. And we have just wrapped up our night. We're starting a new night, so let's see what we can get through.
Let's rock.
So, welcome back to our Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition Chronicle, Philly by Night.
Woohoo!
We are starting a new night. So, everybody knows what that means. Time to
Rouse check.
House check.
Oof.
It's me, Michael and Alice again. Oh, just Michael.
Mhm.
Yep.
No, it's just me.
just the Lord of the Manor. So,
Always so hungry.
Deal with the devil isn't sitting well with him. Hungry in the night.
so Idaho, where did you end up for the evening?
I don't know what day of the week is it?
I mean, it's the next night. It's Sunday, but I mean, I guess by now I figured out some kind of a rotation because I just have to change, once every 7 days, right? Or not once every 7 days. Every 7 days I can begin.
Right. Tonight's Samantha's night.
That's right. I'm at Samantha's right now. No, I mean,
Making babies?
I could say, I mean, if we just want a place, I could say 10 Toes if it's not too soon.
Sure.
Right there.
So I'm going to guess that you're going to immediately, when you wake up,
Yeah,
going
that's my normal routine. I just kind of get up and crawl out from the back of the Hertz and get in the driver's seat and drive to the apartments.
okay. Alice,
Mhm.
when you wake up, Lane is still asleep, but Ruby is awake, and she is sitting outside on the balcony, wearing a floppy pink robe and a bandana, just kind of looking out the balcony.
I'll go out and sit with her.
When you go out on the balcony, she kind of butts up against you, and it's like, so what happened?
Well, I'm not sure how much you would believe if I told you all the details, but we gotta take something to someone. I don't want to involve you much more, honey. I don't want you to worry about it.
She says, did you find out what happened to Kai?
That's kind of part of all this. We're working on it. As hard as we can, as fast as we can, but I don't have any new information, no. How are you doing?
She says, this is not everything that it's cracked up to be. But, I thought, I don't know why I thought, but I thought at least, all of the people who are around me now are people that I would never have to say goodbye to. Like you and Lane, and Idaho, and Michael, and Vic, and Kai.
I know. And I certainly didn't expect to have to say goodbye to her so quickly. Unfortunately, it's a harsh reality of who we are. And I will do everything in my power to protect you and show you that you're cared for and loved. But our status of being wanted and unwanted and being tracked and hunted, it changes night to night.
She says, but she says if someone can get in here and murder her like that, what's to stop the scourge from coming in here?
Well, I think that's exactly what's on our mind right now, and what we're trying to work hard to prevent ever happening again. As far as anyone breaking into our place, it's definitely something that Michael is uber pissed about. But it's kind of, for us, for me, it's, baby steps, one step at a time. And we're investigating as much as we can. And if there's anything I can do to make you feel safer, I'll do it. Just tell me.
She puts her arms around you and she goes, I don't think safe's possible anymore.
It is a relative term.
Michael, what do you do when you wake up?
Muted.
I contact Norwal and ask her what she knows about drones and if she can give me all the information she has on the park.
Noel calls you back and says, drones?
Yep.
Like, what are you trying to do?
Scout.
She says, you're trying to scout Fairmont?
Yes, ma'am.
She says, okay. She says, do you know what you're scouting, where you're scouting? The parks is fairly large. How much time do we have to cover this?
2 days.
Jesus Christ.
All we know is deep in Fairmont. So I guess we can cut out all the exterior sections.
She says, okay. What about during the day? Do we have access to the actual days in between as well?
Yep.
She says, okay. She says, give me a couple hours and I'll get back in touch with you.
Brilliant. This is why I love you. I'll talk to you soon.
She hangs up. Vic, how are you starting your evening?
I want to go to Kai's room, see if it still needs any cleaning, or see if there's any evidence or anything else that we can find there. I know last time we were in there, we were kind of in a rush.
The blood has been cleaned up. There is a bag, like a black trash bag, like one of the heavy industrial trash bags, that is in a corner of the room. Inside of it is anything that they used to clean up the blood with, they put that in there. Anything that couldn't be cleaned, that had to be taken down or removed, that's been put into the trash bag. The only things that haven't been completely cleaned up is the scratch on the floor and the kind of carpet stain, as it were, where her body had laid. It's not carpet, it's on hard floors, but the floor itself has
A stain.
kind of, yeah. There's a sticky note next to each with a question mark, as if somebody was trying to figure out what they're going to do about these things. While you're in there, you hear a kind of a from behind you, and Moira is standing in the door. She says, I've got a little more information about how the fucker got in.
How's that?
She says, so when everybody was leaving, he looked like every other costumed kid out on the street and just happened to linger nearby. Door swung closed. He caught it right before, snuck in. She says, but here's the thing that's kind of weird, is once he was inside, like, he didn't search.
He knew where her room was.
She says, he went up, went straight to the elevator, went upstairs, and then went to the door. And that's the other thing on the footage that we found was from an exterior camera, well outside the shot camera, but it doesn't look like he forced his way in. It looks like he knocked on the door, she opened the door, and then he stepped right in. So either he had something for her, or she was so surprised at who it was that she didn't even fight back.
We get as good a pictures as we can of him and pass it around, see if we can get this guy identified.
She says, we've got the footage, we've done some zoom ins downstairs, I've got some things that we can show people, but it's she says if we're trying to find this dude from pictures, he is, she says, it's a dude in an overcoat with a COVID mask and sunglasses. She goes, but she says, I know that you were looking at security footage with us. We haven't looked at security footage for the inside of the club yet. We're working on it.
I appreciate it.
And she leaves. Idaho. As you were walking up to the apartments, you hear something in the alley. It sounds like voices.
Okay.
They're kind of indistinct, but you definitely swear that you heard something in the alleyway.
Can I not see anything in the alleyway?
The alleyway looks completely clear to you.
All right, well, I'm going to text the group Say, hey guys, I'm outside. I just heard voices in the alleyway, but when I look in the alleyway, I see nothing.
I jump on it.
Are you actually going to jump over the balcony?
Oh yeah.
What floor? What floor is she on?
Stick the landing, superhero landing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I that was more figuratively, but yeah, I was going to be the first one to.
What about rats or bats? Are there any nearby?
You can see some rats.
Can I call them over? Come here, little daddy.
I believe you can, although isn't that a discipline?
Yeah, it's one of my animalism things. Remember when I took animalism, rat god? Remember that discipline that I took?
You have animal dominion, or you have animal ken. So if you are, since to be feral, feral whispers. 245, 246. I don't think you've ever actually used this.
No, not yet.
So. Simple communication requires no dice pool to test, so you don't have to rouse the blood for it. Unless you are attempting to call them to you. If you're going to attempt to call them to you, then summoning them to you requires you to do a rouse check. But if you're just going to walk up to...
Yeah, I just kind of want to talk to them.
So, okay, so are you going to... I'm guessing you're going to head into the alleyway then, and...
So you have to get close enough, right, with that power?
Yeah. You would need to walk up to them and just... Unless you're willing to, like, stand on the street and look like a crazy person.
Of course I'm willing to do that, but
it's my job. I'm just kidding.
It's Idaho. What the hell, man? I'm gonna start flapping my arms. I mean, I'm waiting for backup before I go into the alley because I don't know what might be waiting in there. And
I'm on my way.
I can see the unseen, but I figured while I'm waiting, I was just gonna check. What the hell? I'll try to summon them to me. What do I have to do for
that? Rouse check.
That's it.
It's a rouse check, and then it is a manipulation plus animalism, which for you is your manipulation is 3, animalism's 5, so 8. You're not hungry, so yeah. So
I got a hunger gain.
Oh, you got a hunger gain, then. So then it's going to be 5, 8. So 6 and 2.
Don't deprive me of my hunger.
So, you were a little bit surprised when you go to call the rat over. That like a horde of them like just come out from all of the trash and come down the alley. Like there's like, it looks a little unclean, honestly.
Well, I'm gonna actually try to make an effort to be not totally in the view of anybody that could see me. I'm gonna try to be at least a little subtle about it if I can. You know.
So are you going to then say you're basically going to like try to walk down the alley a little further so that way?
Maybe a little bit, yeah. I'm not fully visualizing the whole layout, so I'm going to try to basically not be like right on the main street with a bunch of rats coming over to talk to me.
Got it. So when you go down a little further, basically down kind of into where the back door from into the club and where the vans are parked and things like that, and they follow you. They kind of huddle around your feet and they whisper, "Very, very large rat."
And I'll kind of whisper back and I'll say, "Just one?"
They all kind of collectively nod, which looks a little weird. It's like a little bit of a wave thing going on.
And I'll say, is the very large rat scary?
They kind of look at one another, and they're like, not like cat, rat.
And I'll say, show me where he is.
They point to the mouth of the alley,
Uh-huh.
and they're like, large rat gone. But then they like point to the back door of the club and says, tried to get in.
Thank you. Pat, pat, pat.
They go, food.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea. What could I give you guys? Geez. We must have some kind of food inside the apartment because we have humans that live in there. Well, I assume they go after the dumpster. I mean, would that be something they would want? I mean, do they not have a way to get into the dumpster on their own?
Oh no, they can totally get into the dumpster on their
Yeah, I
own.
figure that's not rewarding them in any way. I'll say, wait here. As Victor leaves.
Most of them kind of scurry out and spread out back, kind of doing their own ratty things. But there are still a fair contingent of them who are just kind of hanging out now behind the club.
Well, I'm gonna send a little text as I'm walking inside, and I'm gonna say, looks like we had a Nos in the back who tried to get in the club. What's our Nos's name? Brittany. Say, Brittany, do you have any eyes on any of this? And I'm heading inside real quick, but I'll be back out.
Brittany texts you back, and she says, "We don't have." She basically says nobody's been in the club, but it's not supposed to be.
I think my headset died.
Well, I have a feeling it was. What was his name again? Gary? What was the Nos that always used to watch our place that broke my arm?
Roy.
Roy. Why am I thinking? Oh, I'm thinking of Gary from the game, the video game. Never mind. Roy. Could be Roy, but I'm just going to run inside to the kitchen or whatever and find something quick that they can have as a snack and head back out as quick as I can.
So I guess this is a question. Are you talking the kitchen for the apartments?
Yeah.
Okay. You are able to find, like, you've got canned foods and stuff like that in there. There's like
whatever,
chips,
tuna and whatnot. So
yeah.
When you go back out there and you start popping cans open and just dumping them on the ground and whatnot, the rats scurry all around. They're very, very happy at this. That's the face.
Sorry, I'm just imagining
Starwell
Jacques and Gus Gus. That's all I could see in my head is Jacques and Gus Gus.
Gus Gus. What's the food? It's Gus Gus. Got a tray.
They are thrilled.
Nice. I'll say to them while they're still there eating, and I'm kind of like stroking on them or whatever, and say, "Well, thank you, and let me know if you see large rat again."
They give you an affirmative munching noise.
That's all I could ask for.
So, it is a fresh night. What are you guys going to do with it?
So we're done with the alleyway thing. So basically, are we rounded up now, the four of us?
I would assume yes. Everybody's basically.
Because I was already heading down to meet you, and if you're coming in and Brittany's coming in from outside, then
I don't know if Brittany's coming in or not.
Okay.
No, Brittany is staying in the club.
Oh, okay. She came from in the club. Okay.
Well, I want to say to Al, if you want to take a peek, feel free. But the rats are telling me that the Nos left.
I mean, I'm gonna trust your rats. I don't see why they'd lie. If we got, if we got something to meet about, then we should,
Wait a minute.
take care of club business.
Let me ask this real fast. Kind of out of game question.
Sure.
If a Nos is obfuscated, rats can't see him, right?
So it would. So here is the. It would depend. So if you're talking about somebody who's using higher levels of obfuscation, probably not.
So what I'm getting at is just because the rats are saying he left doesn't necessarily mean he's gone.
That's fair. But the other part about that is if there is the lower levels of obfuscation require either no movement or to stay more or less out of sight.
Yeah.
So if there's a perception there, the rats would see that. Like, not to be, like, get real meta about it. But for instance, if rats were sitting there looking and Vic and Al attempted to go into unseen passage, the rats would perceive them. It would create a problem for them. Now nobody could. The rats now, under normal circumstances, just because the rats can perceive them doesn't necessarily mean that they can't go into unseen passage, but it will mean that the unseen passage means nothing to the rats. Does that make?
Yeah, I got you. So basically, without trying to get too much of an answer out of you, because they say he's gone, that's a pretty reasonable that he's actually gone.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say the same thing to Al. They told me that he's gone. If you want to use your sense the unseen to make double sure, that's cool. Otherwise, he's just gone.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, I can always I'd rather get, club business out of the way first, and then on our way over to the club, I can always.
Yeah.
It's on the way.
So yeah, I guess we'll go back in and try to group up with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, can we make the assumption that everybody is basically going to kind of come to the table and everybody's going to group up?
That's where I'm headed.
Okay, so what is your game plan for this evening?
To be fair, actually, I was going to go and try and hunt first real quick just because I had that little bit of Hunger Game and I'm just want to not be hungry.
Fair. That's very fair.
Mm-hmm.
So we will say that you're going to hunt on your right when you get in the club.
Are we not going to do business before we go to the club?
I mean, I can pop in and pop back out.
When you say business, what do you mean?
Because I actually wanted to talk to these guys about the situation with Kai before we go start doing our club night.
Okay. So we will say that that Michael hunting is kind of on the way to everybody getting together.
I could probably run down to the corner store to get something and pick somebody up on the way and back.
That is true.
Because I'm a cutie pie.
Some lucky hobo.
Transient love.
Hey man.
Is that a
any cutie on the way, I will strike up a conversation and see if I can get some. Hey. Of all the genders.
Okay, so
a pretty face is a pretty face.
It's all pretty in the dark. 4 and 2.
Not always that dark. 4.
It's not that dark. You can put a bag on their head. If that still doesn't fix it, you can put a bag on your head. So, 3 successes. When you are in the club, when you get there, there is kind of a punk rock, kind of lanky, old school, wearing his Smith's shirt and his torn jeans, and he is awfully thin, but when he looks at you and he's got those perfect crystal clear baby blue eyes, that kind of
Dark.
Short, spiky blonde hair. Yeah, no, that's a snack. And it takes almost no effort to use your wiles on him to be like, hey, I own a club. This club, even.
Show
So,
me your neck.
so your hunger is reduced to 1. So, fresh evening. What is the game plan for tonight?
Once taking care of breakfast, I would head right to the crew.
Okay.
Now, I wasn't privy to the discussion regarding the video footage, but I would assume that we're going to kind of be briefed on the fact that, kind of like what Maura told Vic.
Yeah, or Vic we can say that Vic.
Vic, or Zach, you're muted, buddy.
Yeah, I was going to be going downstairs and getting. You said she got some pictures,
Mm-hmm.
so I was going to be bringing the pictures up to show everybody.
Now, are you going to mention that, from what I understood of the conversation between the two of you, that none of the pictures show his face?
Right. Yeah.
So, you guys have seen this guy before.
We have.
Yeah,
he was in the cell.
He was in the cell with Kai.
Oh, so this is okay. Okay, so
One arm. This is one arm.
This is one.
Yeah, but presumably he's regrown his arm by now. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is possible. There are a few exceptions or reasons on why a kindred wouldn't. As a perfect example of that, Ruby still has not healed the last of her burn marks.
Well, okay, then looking at the video footage, did he have 2 arms or 1?
He only had 1.
Oh. Well, that ought to make him easily fine. It's okay, because I was actually going to give Sunny a call and see if she could help us locate this bastard. And I was, in order to locate him, we have to figure out what he looks like. So, yeah, I want to contact Sunny, and I want to have some information to give her when I contact her.
Well, me and Al sat across from him for a while in the cell. Would one of us be able to give a sketch description or something like that? Do we have a good sketch artist?
So
our artist was killed.
Oh, too soon.
I wasn't saying that as a joke.
I know, but it's
still hurts.
We missed her already.
Unsurprisingly, none of you have more than a 1 in craft, and it does not look like anybody has anything in.
Does Vic not have craft for his gun?
He has craft for weaponsmithing, yes. So if you wanted to draw, basically either of the two of you could do it.
Do we know any artists? I mean, come on. Do we know anybody who's an artist?
Well, but here's the question. How are you going to make the artists see what they saw?
That's the same way police sketch artists do. You just kind of describe it.
It's always bad.
I mean, you could do that if that is the way the direction you want to go. That's that is entirely possible. I was going to say, if either Vic or Al want to make a run at trying to draw him,
it will be a roll.
It will be a roll.
We'll do that. You might get a messy crit.
What kind of skills would I be using?
Yeah, I mean, we can. There's nothing to say that both of us can't try, right?
Yeah,
sure.
help each other.
In fact, if you want, we can put this at. We'll say it is your intelligence and your craft, and if one wants to help, if one wants to help the other, I will give an additional dice pool.
I've got a 3 dice pool.
I don't know what mine is
Can I
right
help?
now.
I have 1 in craft.
I don't know what
Not
mine
you.
is, so.
I actually have a
might have to help me
specialty of
with that.
sewing and mending clothes.
I'm not sure what my
never used
role would
that
be.
for anything.
I mean, you've probably actually used that for your
Yeah.
for your dumpster chic look.
Hell yeah.
What would my role be, Knox?
It will be 2. Wait, hold on. What's your hunger at? 1. It'd be 3 and 1. Yeah.
All right, I'll go for it.
And then I can give you the bonus then.
That's with
Yeah,
the bonus.
Oh, that's what.
I kind of have a backup idea that probably won't work, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, audience, hang on to your seat.
Two.
Roll. Roll for drawing something. It's exciting.
Well, this is less a roll for drawing. Well, it is rolling for drawing something, but it's also rolling for kind of from memory of somebody you haven't seen in a month.
Mhm.
So here is before I give you your.
To be fair, a traumatic memory, which tends to make things pretty imprintable.
I would say it's probably more traumatic for the guy who lost his arm. That face.
Yep.
That is the face.
Yep.
So before I give you your response, do you want to spend a willpower to re-roll that 1 die?
Bucket.
Okay.
Hardcore.
So what is it? Just 1 white?
Yep.
Okay.
So the sketch is not fantastic. But combined with the pictures that Vic got from Moira, you were able to cobble together an approximation, we'll say. It's not perfect. You couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
But he has one arm.
Okay. But if there's a lineup of one-armed guy,
It's the fugitive.
Oh no.
However, it is more than what you had to go on before. So now you have at least this little bit of a sketch combined with the photos from Vic.
Right.
Can Ruby draw? Does she have any artistic outlets?
I don't know if she would have seen him though. I think me and you were the only ones that really encountered him because we went to go
But
rescue
didn't
Kai.
we have an encounter with him outside of that?
No.
Don't think so. I think I cut his arm off when I closed the door, and he tried to reach for Kai, and
No, I'm probably thinking about somebody else. I thought there was someone that chased us out of like a nightclub or something.
I mean, you
That's
did get
like
chased out of
15
a
or 16
nightclub once
people,
upon a time.
Well, yeah.
But,
I got a milk brain. It all starts to after a while.
she actually does have 2 points in craft, but sewing is where her specialty is. So not drawing.
Okay.
He has sewing just
Good
like
to
I
know.
have sewing. We don't need 2 sewers.
You two could be
Sewer?
woven together. Sewist.
Mhm.
So, what is your next step?
Well, I guess I'm gonna take a picture of the pictures, and I'm gonna contact Sunny.
So when you text Sunny, she responds right back with, "Haven't heard from you in a while."
Things have been crazy.
She says, "Tell me about it. What you got? You got something to trade?"
Possibly. You want to meet up?
She says, "Where do you want to meet up?"
You want to come by the club?
She says, "I can be there."
All right. Awesome. See you soon.
So you've got a little bit of time. So what else do you guys?
We
Is there
never
anything
listened
you
to
want-
that voice message.
I'm trying to think if I know anybody to reach out to.
I'm trying to think if I have some weird psychic shit that I can... But I don't know.
Al.
Could text Andrea.
Again.
Be like, Kai killed. We know who did it. You just got to find him.
No answer.
So what I was going to say is, so is everybody kind of grouped up, or are you guys doing, like, while you're at the club, kind of doing your normal thing until...
I actually want to see if Romano can take over for tonight. I think I want to spend my night trying to at least figure out how to exact some revenge.
Is this a slow enough kind of night that we could step away if we decided to investigate something, take care of something? Is it kind of a slow night?
It is a reasonably slow night. There is not anybody who's like, there's no line when you start the night. It's kind of a trickle in night. As you guys go through, come in, like Slade is not there immediately. The new bartender, she is all hopped up and ready to go, and so she's kind of disappointed when nobody else is.
Not a huge crowd, yeah.
Yeah. When you go in the club, Al, Lane and Ruby are still kind of getting things ready, even though doors are open, and kind of talking and reminiscing about Kai a bit. And you overhear a snippet of conversation. And Ruby says, "It was a cool night, but it was just so weird."
Do I know what she's referencing? Or am I walking right into the middle of the conversation?
You're kind of walking by.
So I step back and say, what's all this about?
You remember that night where you and I and Vic and Idaho, we went to that crazy ladies club, and that was the night when I first got the ash. But she was like, do you remember how weird she acted about Kai?
But, well, to be honest, lots of people act weirdly about Kai, but yes, I vaguely remember.
She's like, she kind of is like, yeah, lots of us act weird. She was almost on the verge of trying to sink her fangs in, right there in the middle of the crowd. She's just very weird.
You think she has anything to do with anything? Or this is just some odd time to reminisce?
She goes, I don't know. I mean, maybe. She was certainly thirsting for her blood.
Good, fair point. I'll definitely bring this up to Michael. Thank you for reminding me about this.
She's like, I don't understand, but you're welcome.
Would it be wrong?
At this point, dear, anything could be a clue. Really, literally, we want to look at absolutely every avenue.
She goes, oh, okay, well, you're welcome.
Would it be wrong of me to point out, because even though it's meta for me to point this out, except that Al was there when we found Kai, that all of us thought the smell of her blood was just amazingly attractive?
Well, but that is inherent to salubri.
Which is probably, I mean, okay, never mind.
I think I know where you're going.
So,
I'm gonna go ahead and text Michael this convenient memory and
Michael
ask,
wasn't
is
there.
this
Remember, Michael wasn't there that night.
no, right? I am telling Michael about our memory, our encounter,
Got it.
what happened,
Okay.
and saying, do you think this is an avenue worth exploring?
Possibly. Are they talking about what's her face's club?
Sabine.
Yes, Sabine. Thank you.
Yes. Gesundheit.
Possible. I mean, the one arm man is definitely a stronger lead.
Well, just something to contribute.
Definitely noted. Thanks for passing it along. Aren't we like grouped together? Like, aren't we together at this point?
No, we spread out in the club real quick to like go take care of shit. So I I was walking by Ruby and Lane discussing this, and I just heard that tail end, stepped in. So
Idaho. Your phone beeps. And it is a text from Sunny that says, Outback.
I'll go out back.
So when you get there, all the rats are still eating all of the food that you have.
I'm so generous.
Sunny is sitting there in a corner. And when you come around, she looks at him and she goes, you guys really need to like call an exterminator.
Say, no. These guys are useful to me. They told me that Nos was here tonight and tried to get in our back door.
She goes, huh. She says, wonder who it was.
I mean, I can guess, but who knows?
She says, so what do you got for me?
Well, is she sitting down?
She's kind of crouching.
I'm going to sit down next to her. I'm going to go, well, I have some bad news.
She goes,
oh. Was it last night? Is that how we progressed through this?
I guess, yeah, this would still be.
Or no, the night before last.
It was the night before, because last night was
yeah.
at the lawyer's.
Yeah.
I thought they both happened the same night.
No, we got up the next day and then we went and continued and we took Kai to the necromancer on it. Say night before last, someone got inside our apartment building and killed Kai.
She kind of nods slow. She's like, that is really shitty.
Mm-hmm. Shitty on many different levels. And
she goes, I didn't know her. She goes, but I know you two are close, so I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, thanks. And she was diablerized. Or do we know that for sure? Or just looked like she was diablerized?
You don't know.
Say it looked like she was diablerized.
Sunny is kind of like, okay. So you know who did it?
Yeah, we do know who did it. And I think you might know him too.
She says, okay.
So remember when we were all trapped at the naval base and you went in to help Vic and Al and they met Kai inside the naval base? This asshole was in the cell with Kai. Did you happen to see them?
She goes,
He was there.
She goes, she goes, I vaguely remember. I don't really remember what he looked like other than the fact that your big friend ripped his arm off, or yeah, basically.
Well, he apparently still only has one arm, and had some really serious problem with Kai because he's the one who came and did it.
She thinks about that for a really long time, and then she kind of goes, "Okay, so I mean, in all likelihood, if he was willing to go to this length to kill your friend," she's like, "Do you think that he's going to try to come back and get you or get your bigger friend to, since he was responsible for?"
Oh, okay. This is gonna be tough because I'm not sure how to answer this because I don't know what I know versus what Idaho knows. But based on the information I have, you can tell me if Idaho knows this. Something seemed really personal between that guy and Kai.
I would say that given your closeness to her as a friend and the fact that you guys were sharing an apartment together, that you would have had at least some discussions about what had happened
Awesome.
there. So
Great.
I would say yes, this is
Yeah.
information you would have.
So, honestly, no, I think there was something really personal between him and Kai. And I don't think he's after Vic. I don't think he's after any of us. I hope, I mean, for all I know, he killed her and left the city, but I hope he's still in the city. And I have a little bit of a sketch of what he looks like, and I have some video footage from when he showed up at our place, and I was hoping I could get your help on finding this guy.
She's like, "Oh, well, she's like, we'll do what I can to help." She's like, "But this is going to require me to probably go to the rest of us." She says, "So this is going to be a reasonably big ask because I'm going to have to pull some favors myself." She says, "So
I don't remember where we were on our last, because I know I had asked her to find some evidence on Charles in the past, and she didn't. But I think last time we did our deal, I kind of owed her, didn't I? Wasn't I already?
the last I remember, you guys were even.
Oh, okay, awesome.
So this would be you basically going back into debt again."
Okay. Say, well, I mean, I don't know if I've got anything particularly interesting that you would care about or that your guys would care about. But I mean, I'll go into debt or I'll, yeah.
Tell them the werewolves are building a homunculi in Fenton.
I mean, clearly I am in possession of some huge ass secrets. I'm just thinking they're not shareable at this point. Say, I don't know. I mean,
Yay, Idaho growth.
Say, I mean, I could tell you Michael's favorite color. No, I could be on the lookout. I mean, I'm not even 100% sure what you guys consider to be valuable. I mean, I don't know. There might be something I know that I think is not that important that you might think is important, but I can certainly try to figure some things out for you.
She kind of drums her fingers and she goes, "So how about this? I will look into this myself. And if I can find something, then you owe me."
Yeah. That sounds good.
She goes, "Then I'm going to get to work."
I really appreciate it. And I'm not the only one that's going to appreciate it. You're doing a favor for all of us here.
She stands up and kind of scoffs and she goes, "Then you can all owe me." She says, "I'm sorry about your friend. We've all been there."
Thanks.
She turns the corner and she is gone.
Oh, you know what I just thought of? Does Brittany have any connections with the city NOS, or is she pretty much just with us now?
She has basically isolated herself in the club.
Okay. All right. Okay, thanks.
So
there's always Roy.
I just want you to kill him, Vic. That's all I want.
So, Vic, what are you going to do? Or what are you doing right now?
No, I was gonna see what kind of leads people could come up with. If I didn't hear anything back from Andrea, she hasn't really been responsive.
She does not respond to your message.
No pizza.
Pizza Cat.
Michael, what are you doing?
I think I still have contacts regarding up north, right? Yeah, checking my messages, seeing if Narwhal called me back. Nawal, sorry, Nawal.
No.
My favorite things. I love them so much.
Noel has not contacted you back yet.
Yeah, I'm just gonna call out to a couple leads, see if they have any sightings. Like, I guess, like, reach out to other local barons in the Anarchs and be like, keep an eye out for this individual. One-armed man.
When you contact Threnody, she's happy to hear from you. She assures you that she will. You of course don't have a way to contact the Anarchs of the Northeast.
I ask her to push it along.
She says she will.
We need to contact them with our fists.
Ignore it. Right now, ignore it. They're just angsty, and so let them be angsty.
So, what are you guys going to do now?
Actually, this might be a total long shot in the dark, but I want to contact my cop friend. Contact Nolte and ask. Well, first, does he answer?
When you contact him, yes, he does pick up the phone.
Okay. I'm going to tell him that I can't give him any details, but I'm wondering if there have been any crimes, odd crimes perpetrated at night, reported by being committed by a one-armed guy.
There is a very, very long pause.
Would he expect anything less from me? Seriously?
And he's like, no, Harrison Ford. I have not heard.
And I just knew you were going to go there, my old friend, but just working my own kind of case right now.
He says, speaking of cases that are being worked, you wouldn't happen to know anything about a break-in at a house up north, would you?
North? I don't even like the north. I ain't been up north. No.
Was it a break-in or a shootout in the street?
That was closer to home.
He says, that's what I thought. He says, well, if I hear anything about your one-armed man, I will certainly get in touch with you. When he says it, he's like laughing at you.
I laugh along with him. I think I realize the humor in the moment, and then I cut very quickly to asking if he's heard anything more about the little girl.
He says no. He says no.
We need to follow up on that.
He says we haven't heard anything.
Okie dokie. Well, thanks anyway. I appreciate everything.
So now, what are you gonna do?
Well, I'm still at the club, so whatever's decided, somebody's gonna have to.
I mean, I guess just I'm gonna run out the rest of the night at the club, just being in the booth, off of the like being available for people to come and talk. Since there's, I mean, like, what else can we do tonight? Like, we have to wait, we have to go.
I have an idea, but it has nothing to do with the investigation.
What do you have an idea to do?
I'm still curious about turning an animal into a ghoul. Seriously, ignore the.
It would be worth trying to invest in maybe a dog ghoul that we could.
So so basically ghouling something like a ghoul, like a human ghoul, is more powerful than a regular human, right?
Given time.
Okay.
So and also part of that has to do with the potency of your blood. So older kindred who ghoul humans end up with something that is like 0.75 of a vampire. And as they get older, ghouls can't even learn first dots in disciplines.
So what I'm sorry.
But what I was going to say is, so it's a very similar thing with animals. The longer that you keep them, the longer that they're ghouled, the stronger and better that they become, and the more attached to you that they become. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, see, basically my idea is I want to take advantage of the fact that I've dumped so much into animalism, and
you're gonna ghoul a cow,
right? I'm gonna go to the zoo and I'm gonna ghoul a lion. All right. So I'm just trying to think, because my initial thought was, yeah, a guard dog, but I can't have a regular guard dog because a regular guard dog isn't going to like the other people in the coterie. But if I had a ghoul guard dog, would a ghoul guard dog tolerate other vampires?
Yeah, ghouls are on a completely different thing. Ghouls, particularly ghouled animals, might as well be just extensions of you. They're going to do exactly what you tell them to do.
Okay. So I guess, how would I find a dog?
Also, not for
probably one at 10 at the tow trucks. 10 toes.
I was gonna say, not for nothing. But the entire thing, and this is kind of out of game, but on topic, some other chronicle did a thing where there was a Nos who holed up in a zoo in Miami, and he ghouled all of the animals in the zoo.
Holy shit!
Over time, and yeah, when they decided that it was time to come for this asshole, they basically kicked down the front door and had to deal with ghouled rhinoceros and ghouled.
Oh, that's cool.
The shit.
Yeah, it was problematic for them to deal with, to say the least.
No doubt.
Wow.
They could handle it, but the rest of us would be in trouble. Well, I guess would it be worthwhile to look around, or should I just go to an animal shelter, or
So this is going to depend on your specificity. If you are looking for or let me rephrase that, the more specific you want to be about the type of animal that you are planning to ghoul, the harder that the search for it's going to be.
Yeah,
like
I
if
just
you're
want a
like
big dog.
So if you're just looking for basically big dogs, so we'll classify that as like Rottweiler, German Shepherd, blah blah blah, in that category of kind of
Mastiff, Irish Wolf. I mean, even if it's like a big old lab, I don't care. I just don't want it to be. I'm not going to ghoul a freaking Chihuahua. That's pointless.
You're going to ride into battle on a ghoul Mastiff.
That is so. If you're looking basically for your average junkyard dog, that's not going to be a terribly difficult search for you to find. There are tons of this late at night. There are tons of places, wreckers and junkyards and places like that are going to have dogs that are outside, that are guarding the premises. It's just going to be a matter of basically hopping the fence, grabbing it. And I mean, can it bite you? Sure. Is it going to hurt like a motherfucker? Yeah, it's nothing that you can't heal through.
Yeah, but I also have high animalism.
And that's true. And I was going to say, and your animal kin is high enough that you probably could get close enough to actually
Okay. Well,
give it.
I don't know how much detail we want to go into as far as, because this is kind of a solo thing, I guess, but I'm going to basically find Michael and just say, since things are slow, I'm going to head out. I think I'm going to go try to find myself an animal companion.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to head off to go find.
Just try to search around the near area, see if I can find anything.
We will say
Don't-
yes.
Don't stay too close because people are gonna. Who cares? It's a goal.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, and so I don't know if you want me to do like a roll or whatever, but I mean, I'm not going to go like just right up the street. I mean, I'll get in the car and drive away a little bit and then kind of look around. I mean,
No, and I was going to say, because this is one of those things where it's between your animal ken and the fact that you're staying within your domain, so you have some amount of knowledge of where you might be looking. This is like there's not a dice pool that will adequately make this even a challenge for you. So,
is there a dog that hangs out at 10 Toes?
they have dogs there.
And
They
you
did
have them
in
big?
fact use that. So yeah, if you wanted to go there, they've got like a pair of Rottweilers and like a husky that they have there.
You can
Nice.
get 2 animal companions for the price of one.
So, all right, well, I'll go.
What are the Huskies' colorings?
Black and white.
So we've got I can choose from 2 Rottweilers and a husky.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we're saying?
Yep.
Are the
Or you can get
Rottweilers
them all.
I'm not going to do 3. Are the Rottweilers like a pair? Are they like?
You could bring me one.
They ain't gonna like you. Well, I guess they would if they got Gould.
They're none of these are not. These are work animals for more or less. Like they're not pets. So when you
Okay, I'm just gonna go for the husky. Do I know their ages?
it won't matter.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. It won't matter now, will it?
Nope.
All right.
As long as you keep feeding it blood, it lives forever.
All right.
And get stronger and stronger and stronger.
Now I'm
Well,
not.
there is
I'm
a
not
plateau there eventually.
because I have a
Okay.
lack of knowledge of dogs because I have a horrible allergy to them. Rottweiler are bigger or more muscular than a husky.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, Rottweilers are more your typical junkyard dog.
Okay.
So your Rottweiler is going to be better for like protecting and like more muscular, but your Husky is an active and like more like hunter breed a little bit. So like there are benefits to different, like they have a better tracking capabilities and they can see in darkness better, but like Rottweilers are much stronger and bigger and have a bigger bite force.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the Rottweiler.
So you don't have any problems. Like the Rottweilers have seen you there. You guys have been around. You specifically have been around the records.
Mm-hmm.
So when you walk in, it's not even a problem for you to be able to do this. However, giving it your blood does increase your hunger.
Now I'm at a 3.
Oh, sorry. And Huskies are a lot smarter.
I don't need a dog smarter than I am. So now I'm at a 3, right?
Yeah.
So what happens when I ghoul him? Does now he just like he's like attached to me or something or what?
So ghouling or blood blonding. So basically what ends up happening is you drink a little bit, although not much. And then you end up having to then give it some of your blood. At that point, so the process for blood bonding and for ghouling, when you do this, means that it has an immediate affectation and affection for you. It will now follow you. It will follow. You will have to teach it commands, but you have animal ken, so that's not such a big deal. But it will listen to you and do as you say faithfully.
Cool. Well, let's Oh, we wouldn't have known what their names were because we kind of killed their owners.
No, you can name it whatever you want.
Okay. I'm gonna name him Tinky Lala. No, I'm not gonna name him that. I'll come up with a name for him.
Chad Kruger.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to take too much time away from the other group because this is just a thing for me. But I mean, I guess while I'm out and now I've got my new dog, I'm gonna go hunt.
Okay.
Am I still in our domain?
Yeah, you're at Tentos, so you're.
Oh yeah.
So it's gonna be 6 dice, 3 and 3.
Can my dog help me like go up to somebody at the park and like whimper at him and like, oh, my owner's missing, follow me into this dark alley?
But your dog theoretically could maul somebody and you could clean up after it.
Yeah.
Although
I'm gonna teach him the lure bait. I'm gonna teach him that trick. Okay, what did you say it was, 3 and 3?
yeah, we'll be 3 and 3.
Well then, I guess I found a druggie.
So you happen to, while you are at Tento's Records and getting the dog, you happen to find or rather, you get found as the Records is still in use. And as the truck comes in dragging a fucked up Camaro, out of the cab hops a guy who is like, he is obviously above the legal limit, and he is kind of like, what are y'all gonna do with my car? What are you gonna,
Oh, he's not the tow driver. He's the guy he belongs to the Camaro.
Yeah. And as soon as you kind of stroll up behind him and are like, can I help you with something? He is very, very eager to be helped.
Nice.
How far are you going to drink?
I mean, I can drop down to a 1 without doing any serious damage to the guy, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I'm just going to drop down to a 1.
Okay.
And that'll let Brutus have a little taste, I mean. Oh, that'll be his name, Brutus.
Make a note of that. There'll be a quiz.
Is it a male dog or a female?
I don't know. What is it?
I don't know. You're the storyteller. Roll a die.
You're the one looking at its crotch. What is it?
Well, maybe they were both guys. I don't know. Okay, it's a guy.
So, what are you guys going to do now?
I'm going to try and talk to Slade, and I'm also going to give a call out to what's his face? Roman. Check on his poaching situation. See if he's seen any limbless kin as well.
With regard to the Roman, you don't even get there. Like nobody picks up. With regard to Slade, he looks at the picture. He looks at the photos. He's like, I've never seen this dude my entire life. Then he says, he's sitting there and he's thinking. He goes, but he's like, I don't know what their history is. That's not my deal. He says, but how did he know where she was?
Wouldn't we like to know?
Wasn't it like something about his like kind of being like when Ruby had that like flash that he had like attached to her and he became obsessed? Or am I remembering? This is meta. So sorry.
Yeah, no. I don't. I think you're misremembering.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about what we might know about that or have learned about that.
Slade is basically like, he says, I think maybe you got two problems.
I think you might be right.
Hmm.
We go back and watch the security. Well, I'm not there, so I'm not getting this information. Never mind.
I would be like texting this. I'd be like, after he says that, and I say, I think you might be right. Be like, listen, if you hear about somebody like this, if you hear about a dude like this, or if you actually do see him in your lifetime after this, let me know.
He goes, I mean, you know, you're the Baron. I'm totally down to serve the Baron. I will absolutely let you know. He says, but I can't help but think that you got to play pool with this.
How do you mean?
Well, he goes, now myself, I am a highly practiced practitioner in the game of pool. And the best way to score yourself some reputation, you got to learn how to rack those shots from different angles. He says, I know. Maybe this is a little bit above your pay grade, so I'm going to let you in on a secret here. He says, it isn't just about trying to get the one ball in the hole, although I am very skilled at getting balls in holes, if you understand what I mean. That's not what we're talking about.
Smack him.
He says, sometimes you're looking for one ball, you got to learn how to knock it off of another ball. Sometimes you're looking for one ball, you got to learn to knock it off of two other balls.
I think I see what you mean.
He says, you get my drift? You get what I'm playing at here? He says, I don't think you're looking for this guy. I think you're looking for the guy who knows this guy.
I got it. Successful metaphor. Well done, Slade. Good job.
He goes, I am the best.
Maybe the best dresser.
You are the best Slade.
He goes, ain't nobody like me but me.
Now that's the damn truth.
So awesome.
I'm like, thank you. And then I like leave him alone, I guess.
Yep, he goes back to trying to peddle his wares, although there are sadly not very many people there tonight, so he looks like he is struggling a little bit.
I actually throw him like $100 just for the boost.
Hey.
Yep.
So.
And the info.
Noel contacts you back and sends you a text and says, if you're looking for like high angle aerial footage on a drone, she's like, I've got a lead on somebody who can get you that footage during the day. Says it's kind of expensive, but he can do it over the next day or so. Said, but if you're looking for in-depth, like up close searches of Fairmont, she's like, you don't have, if we're on a time limit, you don't have enough time.
We're looking for a lab that's not trying to be found, and we have only 2 days to find it.
She says, well, if you're looking for something in Fairmont, you're probably going to need to go see the gangrel there.
I'm thinking you're right, but I will take that aerial footage nonetheless.
She goes, all right, I'll get it booked.
Give him and tell him I'll boost it by 5% if he does it by tomorrow.
She says, I'll see what I can do.
Thanks.
So, as the evening is starting to wind down and the night is starting to gracefully end, for once, Idaho, what are you doing?
I guess I'm just gonna head back, unless it's time for me to go find a place to sleep.
Let's say you've got maybe an action, maybe 2 actions before it's going to be about that time. So
I was gonna bring Brutus to meet the group, let them know that I now have a dog, Ghoul.
are you taking Brutus to the apartments or the club?
I'm not gonna take him to the club. I figure this is like we're getting close to kind of ending things, right? As the club closed.
Yeah, we'll say it's probably like 2:30, 3 o'clock. So the club's winding down. People are starting to leave.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to go to the apartments and do a group text everybody and say, I've got a new friend I'd like you guys to meet.
Okay. Vic, what are you going to do?
I guess I didn't find too much in the way of leads to go off of, so I guess I'd be working there on Stubby because I'm going to use that shotgun very soon.
Stubby at this point is done.
Is done.
Oh.
All right.
Nice.
Well, then we're making some shells.
I need somebody to test it on. Somebody with one arm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not the test. That's the
Blow his kneecaps off. Say, how does that feel?
Michael, what are you going to do?
I'm going to try and remember my gangrel contacts.
You don't have too many of those. In fact, the only one that you have, and not even as a contact, would have been Celine.
Would have been.
Who knows where she is?
She's with Andrea.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I guess Andrea would be the other gangrel contact you have, but
She ain't answering her phone either.
she hasn't answered her phone either.
May not even be in Philly anymore.
Oh, you know that to be true.
Well, maybe she came back. She missed us.
Aim can always improve.
Would I know just where the gangrels are generally? Like how I would approach the enclave?
So you know that the general kind of onboarding point into Fairmont Park is behind the museum.
Okay.
You know that that's basically kind of considered kind of the gateway to the kingdom, as it were. That going through there, going past the museum and heading into the park is heading into their territory.
Got it. And this whole thing with Sabine was mentioned to me.
Did Al, did you mention the discussion with Sabine?
Oh, I'm a big mouth. I usually run to Michael and say everything.
She said she texted Michael.
Oh, yeah,
You heard about it.
Okay, yeah.
So then the answer to that is yes. You would have been informed of this potential.
So, just to close all leads, I would have sent her like flirty message of meeting up sometime.
She responds very quickly, and she to your message with my doors, among other things, are always open to you.
I send her a winky face.
To me.
So, Al, what are you doing?
Probably text Ruby and see if she's hungry, if she needs to eat before the night winds down.
Ruby texts you back and says that no, she's okay.
Okay, and I don't see the need to feed, so
She does text you to let you know that she and Lane are heading, after they get done cleaning the bar up, that they are heading out for a early breakfast with some of the other Thin Bloods.
okay. I tell them all to be very careful, watch each other's backs.
We are under siege.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But yeah, if I've kind of wrapped up all of my things, I just would end up retiring to my apartment.
So, final thoughts, Idaho.
It's nice to actually end a session at the end of the night. About that, I'm looking forward to exploring having a ghoul finally. After it only took 39 sessions for me to finally get a ghoul, and I'm interested in kind of seeing where that goes. And we still haven't listened to that voice message, so I'd like to do that at some point. But yeah, it was a nice session. Very interesting. I'm very curious about the guy living underground
in his underground mansion.
Yeah, I love it. That was great. The way you described that whole thing, that was so good.
Yeah, I watched as more than a few of you had kind of yeah moments.
That was awesome.
Vic, final thoughts.
I'm just thinking about revenge at this point.
Lot of people who need it. Al, final thoughts.
It's nice to not be on edge for first night in a while, but at the same time, I don't feel like I got as much out of the investigation as I would have liked for only having 3 days to get this shit done. It just feels like there was more I could have done, even though we didn't have much to go off of, if that makes sense. So there's a slight frustration at wanting to know more and do more, but realizing that's just where we're at, and yeah.
Mr. Starwell, final thoughts.
As I'm settling in for the morning, I'm going over all of our new onboarders and trying to remember previous experiences and trying to put pieces together.
A lot of different irons in the fire right now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of different things that need done.
And fast.
For a group that will live forever. It seems like the nights are running out like sands in the hourglass.
Mhm.
And with this in mind, our session, if not our chronicle, ends for tonight. Next Monday, session 40.
Nice.
It's middle-aged.
We'll be over the hill after next session.
Oh man. It's getting good, y'all. Not that it hasn't been good. Hi, Trauma. Thanks for sticking with us through the session. Glad you enjoyed it. We certainly have fun. Thanks to everybody that stuck with us, all the lurkers out there. Now's the time before we raid over to a friend to get in any follows. If you were kind of following along, weren't sure what you were getting into, and you liked what you saw, hit us up with a follow. Any bit subs, anything else you guys want to throw down tonight? Now's the time to do it while we find a friend to raid to. But yeah. Oh, okay. Nox, I don't know if you can see what Trauma said. Are you watching the chat? Okay, Trauma has said that your final thoughts at the end there is a very cool concept, and they're going to incorporate it into their next game. So, look at you. Impressing upon the masses.
Yes.
I'll check real quick and see if we have who we have as our friends that are streaming. Actually, we've got another VTM friend streaming, so we will head over to them. So I want to thank everybody for sticking with us tonight. As always, we love having you with us. We've got Nox, our storyteller, Skot, who plays Idaho, Zack, who plays Vic, Martha playing Michael, and I'm your Alice. We're signing off and raiding you over to a friend. So stay tuned.
Bye-bye.
Bye.